Chosen, you feel that something is about to happen, but you still can't see what it is. A door that has been locked for so long, which seemed impossible to open, now swings wide open before you. Heaven is making a way for the impossible to happen in your life. I know you've been doubting, that the difficulties have made you question what is still possible, but there is no more time to hesitate. What once seemed impossible is now within your reach, and what you need to understand is that God is already working on your behalf in ways you can't even imagine. But tell me, chosen, are you ready to walk through this door? Are you prepared to face what is coming? Heaven is not only answering your prayers, it is preparing the greatest miracle of your life. This is not just any promise, it is the manifestation of the impossible. Something grand is about to happen, and you need to be alert to not let this opportunity slip away. The path to the miracle has already been paved, but the real question is, will you walk through it? Have you ever felt chosen, that a door in your life has been locked for so long that you almost gave up trying to open it? But now, when you least expect it, something powerful begins to happen. Heaven is moving in ways you can't see yet, but will soon be visible to everyone around. You, the door to the impossible, the one you thought was out of reach, is about to open. What once seemed like an insurmountable obstacle is now about to transform into an opportunity. You might be wondering, maybe even doubting if you're worthy to cross this door. Doubt haunts you, doesn't it? You think, I'm not good enough, or am I ready for this? But I tell you, chosen, that God would never have brought you to this point if He didn't have something grand waiting for you. The door is opening now because you were chosen to live something beyond what your mind can comprehend. Believe me, you didn't get here by accident. What lies ahead of you is not just a path. No, it is a new beginning, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that only comes to those willing to trust, to take the step even without understanding everything. Heaven is not just opening a door, He is preparing you to enter into a new era of achievements. And when that door fully opens, what you find on the other side will surprise you. The first thing you need to understand is that none of this is by chance. Every difficult moment you've been through, every struggle you've faced, was what prepared you for this door. What you've lived up to now was just training for what's about to happen. The impossible is no longer out of reach. It is within your reach, and you are about to take possession of it. Now, dear chosen, you must ask yourself, are you really ready to cross this line? The change that's about to occur will require courage, trust, and faith. You have everything you need to cross this door. But the next step is not easy. Heaven has opened the door, but now the real journey begins. And the big question is, will you take the first step, or will you let fear paralyze you? Now that the door to the impossible has started to open before you, it's time to understand what's really at stake. Chosen. God didn't bring you here by accident. Every step you've taken up to this point, every challenge you've faced, was part of a divine plan. The promise you've been waiting for, even without realizing it, is now awakening. And this goes beyond a simple wish fulfilled. It is the manifestation of the impossible in your life. I know doubt might still visit you, that you may wonder if you truly deserve this change. But understand, chosen, that this promise was made to you before you were even born. God doesn't make mistakes. He chose you for this transformation because He saw in you an unshakable faith. He prepared this moment, and now you're seeing the fulfillment of a heavenly plan that no one can interrupt. From now on, the impossible begins to manifest. You may not see all the pieces yet, but every detail of your journey has been carefully crafted by the Creator. What seemed distant and unattainable is now an imminent reality. This is not just the fulfillment of a wish, it's the realization of a promise from God, a promise that will shake everything around you. Heaven is beginning to move in such a visible and powerful way that you will be left speechless. What was in the invisible realm is now becoming visible. It's important that you understand this promise won't be fulfilled simply or without effort. God is preparing you for greatness, and this transformation will require your active participation. It's not just about waiting for things to happen, but about aligning yourself with the divine purpose He has for you. When you take this step of faith, when you accept what God is doing in your life, you'll see the impossible taking shape before your eyes. Now, what you need to understand is that this promise has already been activated. The question is, will you embrace what God is preparing for you? This is the moment to awaken to what He is already doing, and only you can decide whether you will walk the path He has prepared. But be aware, the next stage won't be easy. The great change is coming, and you need to be ready for what comes next. Now that you've grasped the depth of the divine promise chosen, it's time to understand the secret heaven holds for you. The impossible is not distant or unattainable. When you align with the divine purpose, the impossible begins to become reality before your eyes. This is not an act of luck or coincidence. It is a supernatural move of God in your life. Something that only the chosen can perceive and take advantage of. The key to making the impossible possible is your unshakable faith. It's not about seeing to believe, but believing without seeing. You are being trained to trust in what God is doing, even if you can't see all the steps. And as you surrender to this process, the barriers begin to fall. What once seemed out of reach is now drawing nearer to you in such a clear and powerful way that you can hardly believe it. But the true transformation begins when you recognize that God moves in ways the human mind cannot comprehend. He doesn't do things the way the world would. The impossible is the hallmark of the heavenly move, and it's what you are beginning to witness. This is not just a one-time miracle, but a change in your life that will begin to affect everyone around you, showing them that you were chosen to live this extraordinary reality. As you move toward this new level, heaven begins to move in favor of your life. It's no accident that the doors are opening for you now. It is the result of your faith, of your trust in something greater. And remember, chosen, the impossible, is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced with courage. God is going before you, preparing everything so you can live what until yesterday seemed unthinkable. Now the real question is, are you ready to understand the impact of this heavenly move in your life? The impossible is at your door, but there is still more to be revealed. The secret of heaven is about to manifest even more clearly, and you need to be attentive to what is about to happen. The next step is crucial, and now, more than ever, your faith will be tested. Now that you've understood the secret of heaven, chosen, it's time to realize that the impossible is within your reach in a way you never imagined. What once seemed distant is now coming toward you with a force that cannot be ignored. But here's the crucial point. You've come this far, but there is still an invisible line to cross. The question is not whether the miracle will happen, but if you are willing to take the necessary step to receive it. Heaven has already prepared everything for you, but the final decision is yours. Crossing this line requires more than faith. It requires courage. You must challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone, to move into unknown territory where the impossible becomes real. This is the decisive moment, the point where your action determines the level of the miracle you are about to live. There's no more time to hesitate. The time is now. What is reserved for you requires your active participation. God will not force your hand. He has prepared the miracle, but it's up to you to accept it. This is the moment to align your heart with the heavenly purpose and take the step toward the new. The miracle is waiting for you, but the movement must come from within. This is not just about waiting passively, but about taking possession of the divine promise, moving forward with confidence and faith in everything He has promised you. Heaven is waiting for you to move. I know there may be fear, chosen. The unknown is frightening, and doubt may want to return. But remember, the miracle doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you take risks, when you decide to walk in faith, not looking back. Crossing this line is what separates the doubters from those who receive, and you are about to witness what God will do when you take that step. Now, the real question is, are you ready to move forward, to cross this line and step into what God has prepared for you? The moment of revelation is much closer than you think, but the decision to take possession of it must be yours. In the next step, you will understand how resistance will be one of the greatest tests before the miracle manifests. You've come this far, chosen, but the journey doesn't end without resistance. As you approach the miracle, a truth is revealed. The enemy is trying to divert you. He knows that the impossible is within your reach and will do everything to plant doubts, fears, and insecurities in your heart. But know this: these attacks are signs that you are on the right path. The enemy only acts when you're about to conquer something great. The fear you feel is not a reflection of your weakness, but an attempt to paralyze your faith. He will tell you that you are not worthy, that you don't have the strength to move forward, but you know the truth. You were chosen to live the extraordinary. What is about to happen cannot be stopped unless you allow it. The enemy will try to convince you that the impossible is not for you, but you must remember, this is the moment to resist. Heaven has already done its part. Now, you need to do yours. What the enemy tries to steal from you is your confidence. He wants you to doubt, to look at difficulties and see only obstacles. But chosen, what you see as barriers are actually steps that bring you closer to your miracle. When doubt appears, remember, it's just an attempt to pull you away from the truth you already know. This is the moment of steadfastness, to understand that the battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the powers that want to make you fall. The enemy may try to divert you, but you have a greater strength within you. What God has prepared for you does not depend on external circumstances, but on your inner willingness. Stand up, choosing to see beyond fear, beyond the voices that say, "It's not for you." The miracle is in your hands, and no one can stop what God has already decreed. The enemy's resistance only intensifies the reward that is coming. He knows that when you break through this barrier, the impossible will become a reality in your life. The challenge is great, but the victory will be even greater. What comes next is crucial for your journey, and with every step, you get closer to your destiny. Victory is certain, but the path requires trust. Chosen now, after facing doubt and fear, you need to understand something crucial. The key that unlocks the impossible is already in your hands. It is not a physical object, but a spiritual key, something only you can access. It is tied to your faith, to your willingness to believe without seeing. The transformation you seek and that heaven is preparing for you depends on this key. The impossible will open before you when you choose to use it. This key doesn't work on its own. It needs your trust to be activated. It's not enough to believe passively. You need to take action, to act with the certainty that God has already prepared everything. The true key is your ability to act in the face of uncertainty, to walk the path without needing to see every step. What seems uncertain now will transform into a flow of opportunities you never imagined. When you trust and act, the doors will open and the impossible will begin to happen. Many people spend their whole lives searching for this key, but few find it. And that is why you were chosen. God has prepared you to live the extraordinary, but for that, you need to be willing to do what few would. The key is in your hands, but only you can decide to use it. What lies ahead of you is a path to victory, but it will only become real when you put your faith into action and start walking it with confidence. The key is simple but powerful: to trust unreservedly in the divine plan. When you choose to believe with all your being, you will activate a supernatural force that will move mountains. It will no longer be about what you see, but about what you believe. The impossible will no longer be something distant, but something you begin to live in. Every area of your life. The key that God gave you is faith, and it will open the doors to everything you asked for. Now the question is, will you use this key or set it aside? The choice is yours, but remember, heaven has already done its part, and the transformation is about to happen. The next step is crucial because you need to be prepared to face what comes next. When you make this decision, you will see how the impossible will become your reality. After understanding the key that opens the impossible, chosen, you may be wondering why the struggle seems to intensify now. When you approach victory, the storm begins to rise. Heaven doesn't give you the miracle without forging you for it. What you are living is not a punishment, but a preparation for the greatness that is about to unfold. The storm, many times, is the last barrier before the miracle manifests. You've already gone through so many battles, and the pressure seems greater than ever. The enemy, knowing the great victory that is coming, tries to convince you that you won't endure. But I tell you, chosen, what you are experiencing now is just the final test, the moment when your faith will be truly refined. Heaven is moving, and this storm is proof that you are closer to victory than ever. Don't give up. This storm will not last forever, and you will come out of it stronger than you entered. What you're going through now is temporary, but what comes after it is eternal. When you get through this, you will understand that the miracle is not just an external change, but a deep transformation inside you. God is using this moment to strengthen you, to prepare you for what is to come. And at the end of the storm, you will see the clear sky with abundant blessings pouring into your life. Fear may try to take over, but remember, storms don't last forever. They have a purpose. They cleanse, they prepare, they ready the ground for what's to come. And you, chosen, have the power to move forward, not to be shaken. When you cross this moment, the impossible will be only the beginning of what God has reserved for you. There's no turning back now. What comes next is the realization of what you always believed to be impossible. You are almost there. The storm is calming, and the miracle is about to happen. The next step requires a deeper alignment with the divine purpose. And once you are prepared, the impossible will become not just a possibility, but a solid and true reality. Now, after facing the storm chosen, you are about to understand the depth of the divine purpose unfolding before you. What once seemed like chaos is now revealing itself as part of a much greater plan. You have walked through this journey not just to receive the impossible, but to align your life with what God has always dreamed for you. The path you are walking is not simple, but it is the path of the chosen, and it will lead you to a transformative destiny. Alignment with the divine purpose requires more than faith. It requires total surrender. It is no longer about what you desire, but about what God has already prepared for you. When you truly surrender to the heavenly plan, you become a vessel for the impossible. God begins to work in you powerfully, guiding your steps and preparing you for an even greater impact. What you thought was a struggle is now the forming of something grand you are about to live. This alignment doesn't happen all at once. It is an ongoing journey where every step of faith brings you closer to the greater purpose. When you accept that your life is not just about you, but about the role you play in the divine plan, everything begins to change. The impossible doesn't just become possible, it becomes your daily reality. Heaven is not only opening doors, but is creating the path you must follow, full of miracles and possibilities. Understand that the resistance doesn't come from God's plan, but from your own inner struggle. You are being molded, and it is this struggle that strengthens you. Every challenge that arises is an opportunity to align more deeply with the divine will. Don't despair in the face of obstacles. They are part of the construction of your destiny. When you align with the heavenly purpose, you find strengths you never imagined you had. The next step is simple but powerful. You need to make a decision. A faith that doesn't depend on circumstances, but on a deep commitment to what God has prepared. What comes next will require your complete trust. And when you truly align, the impossible will cease to be a challenge and will become just the beginning of a new era in your life. After aligning with the divine purpose, chosen, you are now facing the great miracle that heaven has prepared for you. The impossible is no longer a distant abstraction, but a reality about to materialize. What you have lived so far has been the preparation process to receive something so grand you can barely comprehend. God didn't bring you this far just to survive, but to experience the fullness of the impossible. The miracle is not in something you seek outside of yourself, but inside you. The transformation has already begun, and the impossible is already being activated in every area of your life. Heaven is working, but you must believe with all your soul that what once seemed unreachable is now yours by right. It's not about luck, chosen. It's about what God has prepared for you from the beginning. What He planned goes far beyond what your eyes can see right now. You are seeing the first signs of the miracle, but what is to come is even greater. The impossible will manifest in such a grand way that it will be impossible to ignore. Heaven is bringing the full manifestation of your promise, and it will not just be for you, but for everyone around you. The miracle you are about to live will touch lives, impact your family, your friends, and your community. It is not just your victory, it is the victory of God's plan in action. This is the stage where you need to strengthen your faith even more. The miracle is not something that just happens, but something you must live in total confidence. God has already done His part, and now your part is to be fully aligned with what He has prepared. The impossible will come to fruition, but you need to walk with the certainty that there are no more barriers. Heaven is opening everything for you, and the only thing left now is for you to take possession of it all. The question remains, will you embrace this miracle with the unshakable faith that heaven expects from you? The miracle is near, closer than you think. In the next step, you will see how the manifestation of the impossible will be the key to something even greater, something you are about to live. Chosen, the moment you've been waiting for has arrived. The impossible is no longer a distant promise, but your imminent reality. Everything you've gone through, all the struggles, were to prepare you for this moment. Heaven didn't bring you this far for you to fail now. What lies ahead of you is no longer a possibility, but a certainty. The miracle has been given, and the only thing left now is for you to accept it with confidence. This is the final test, chosen, the moment when you must stand firm in your faith. What you always believed was impossible is now about to materialize. Before your eyes, God didn't just hear you, He moved on your behalf. It's not about waiting any longer, but about taking possession of what has already been released to you. What once seemed like a dream is now a divine gift within your reach. Doubt may try to arise, and fear may try to return, but you need to remember, you are chosen to live the extraordinary. The impossible can no longer stop you. Heaven has already done its part, and what comes now is your decision to receive everything God has prepared for you. This is the moment you will experience the full manifestation of the promise made to your life. What once seemed like a challenge will now be the testimony of your victory. You have the strength needed to receive everything God has already prepared. The miracle no longer depends on external factors, but on your faith, on your willingness to embrace what's at your door. God has chosen you, He has equipped you, and now the only thing left is your trust to take the final step. The impossible is about to be realized, and you are the chosen one to live it. Are you ready to take possession of what heaven has already prepared for you? The impossible is no longer a matter of if, but of when. And that when is now. Prepare yourself to live the transformation that only the chosen ones have the privilege to experience. The miracle is already happening, and your life will never be the same. Chosen, you have come this far. The impossible is no longer a distant promise, but a reality about to manifest in your life. Every step you've taken to this moment has been a test, a preparation, a transformation. And now the journey doesn't end, it begins. The miracle you've been waiting for, the impossible you thought was unreachable, is already in motion. God has chosen you to live something beyond what you can imagine. Now the decision is yours. Receiving this miracle requires faith, trust, and action. It's not enough to believe in God, you must live what He has already prepared for you. The impossible will be your daily reality, but you need to take possession of it with courage. God has already done His part, and now you must do yours. This is the moment to take the final step toward the miracle. You were chosen for this, and what comes next is more than a miracle. It's a new life, a new path full of opportunities, blessings, and transformations. Your story will no longer be the same. God has already opened the doors. Now it's up to you to walk through them. The impossible is within your reach, ready to manifest in every area of your life. I want you to take a moment now to reflect on everything you've lived, everything you've learned, and on what you're about to live. The miracle is not an end, but a new beginning. Do not let doubts pull you away from what God has already prepared for you. What He has done for you is too great to be ignored. Now it's time to live the extraordinary. If you feel that something grand is happening in your life, if this is the moment when everything promised will become a reality, then share this transformation. Leave your comment, share your story, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Get ready because the impossible has just begun in your life. Activate the bell so that when the miracle happens, you're ready to live it with all the intensity He has prepared for you.